Easy people, welcome back to my channel at Big Steve MCFC. The season is finished. The Premier League season is over. We are the champions again. We did it. We came back. Arsenal had a great season. Yeah, didn't quite have the minerals. We said that. We got the job done. And we were going into the last game against Brentford, I think on a 24-25 unbeaten run. But with a big couple of weeks ahead. The game at Brentford was a bit of a weird one. Felt like the atmosphere was a bit... We were obviously partying. Everyone was relaxed. There was nothing really riding on the game. We were just going to make sure we didn't get any stupid injuries with the games coming up. And we needed to make sure certain people got game time and rhythm, etc., etc. Anyway, the teams were announced. And I think you'll all agree, it was a bit of a surprise. It was a very weakened team to our first team. We get that. But listen, it's a tough one to call. There's only Pep Guardiola knows how certain players are feeling. There's only Pep Guardiola knows who's carrying a knock, who's carrying a niggle. And there's certain players who might have a little knock and a niggle who have got one eye on the FA Cup final and one eye especially on Istanbul. So if they come to the physios and say, look, I feel a bit of a tight hamstring, or I've got a bit of a tight calf, I don't want to risk it against Brentford, then it's understandable. You know what I mean? The team, it was written it down here: Ederson in net, Laporte, Ake, Walker, Gomez, Foden, Phillips, Lewis, Palmer, Alvarez, and Riyad. I mean, on paper, it's a good team. Is it a title-winning team? No. You know, it's probably our third team. But at the end of the day, you know, a lot of them players haven't played. Pep decided to go that way. And we went that way. The game was boring. Very, very boring. You know, City were huffing and puffing. Nothing really happening. Brentford, the same. They were having a few chances here and there. They were getting physical with us and that. It was good to see Cole Palmer again getting minutes. I thought first half especially he did okay. I thought he dropped in the second. Rico getting a game. Calvin Phillips in the midfield. Yeah, he played okay. He's not Rodri though. We know that. But he played okay. He got minutes under his belt. Laporte. Obviously Laporte is the man. We know he's a great player. I feel a bit sorry for him at the minute. But, you know, he did his job well. Nathan Ake, good to see him back in the team, looking sharp. Sergio Gomez, I'm sorry, he's not quite good enough for this Manchester City team. We can't afford to give players like that chances to grow in the team. He's never going to make it. He's never going to be a first-team starter for Manchester City. You could see on Sunday against Brentford, he was like fish out of water, really. He's obviously a good kid. He's come in. He's done his bits this season. He's got a Premier League medal. But I don't think Pep Guardiola would trust him in a big game. That's my opinion. I don't think he's got a future at Manchester City. I think he could go somewhere else a little bit lower down and play week in, week out. But Manchester City, you've got to be an elite level. And I just don't think he's that level. You guys might disagree with me in the comments. If you think Gomez is up to Manchester City standards and you think he can play week in, week out, then leave me a comment below. If you don't, then let me know. That's not me being hard on the lad. That's me being real. You know what I mean? I've watched enough games of him to tell you that, in my opinion, he's not good enough. So anyway, listen, the game was filtering out. It was going down the 0-0 route. And at the end of the day, I think we would have took that. Just let me have a bit of the Old Brew. But Brentford caught us late. We lost the game 1-0. I'm disappointed to lose the game because we was on an undefeated run. I get that, you know what I mean? Was I disappointed with the lineup? I probably was at the time, you know what I mean? I can't understand it. But when you take a step back, when you look at what we've got coming up, we've got the FA Cup final, we've got the Champions League final. If Pep would have fielded a strong team and we'd have lost Haaland or we'd have got Ruben Diaz injured, the fans would go mad and into meltdown. At the end of the day, we lost to Brentford 1-0 in a dead rubber game and we rested the whole team, barring Kyle Walker and Ederson. That'll probably start against Man United next week. Obviously, this week in training, he's given them a couple of days off. Then they're going to have intense training this week. Mark my words, there'll be intense training. So people worried about standards dipping and all that. I don't think it is going to happen. Pep Guardiola has got to get into these players this week and get them up for these 2 games. He has got to motivate them now to go for this. This next 2 weeks is probably the biggest 2 weeks in Man City's history at the minute, modern day. This 2 weeks could take us from a very, very good team to an unbelievable world-class elite team. And that is basically what he's got to get into these players. Do you know what I mean? Manchester City want me to go in there and have a word. I'll have a word. You know what I mean? No problem. Get me the call, Pep. Get me to the training ground. After lunch, get him in a room, and I'll talk to him about what it means to these supporters, what's going to happen in these next couple of weeks. That is what we need to do. But a lot of people were panicking. A lot of people were getting nervous and all that. Listen, whether Pep played his best team or not, there'll always be the typical Man City inside us to make us nervous, because we've got 2 finals coming up. The FA Cup final against them and Inter Milan in the Champions League final. It's not a time to be nervous. Now is a time to be excited. Now is a time to be thinking, wow. Because today, in 1999, we was at Wembley. We were 2-0 down to Gillingham in the 90th minute, yeah? And we came back and we won it. Paul Dickoff, equaliser, penalties, Nicky Weaver. And fast forward now, 1 week, we're playing Manchester United in the FA Cup final. We're already Premier League champions, and we're in a Champions League final against Istanbul. Now, in 1999, I remember that day like it was yesterday. If you'd have said to me, in 20-odd years' time, you'll be Premier League champions, and you'll be going into an FA Cup final against Manchester United and a Champions League final against Inter Milan the week after, I'd have thought you was off your fucking tits, mate. I'd have said, sort your head out, lay off the spice, yeah, because that ain't happening. But I'm telling you now, it happened, and we lived it. And so now's not the time to be panicking. Now's the time to be excited, let me tell you. Now's the time to be proud of this football club and proud of the journey that we've been on. Now's the time, yeah, when we look back and think, we dealt with that back then. And we've had some shit over the years, let me tell you that. You know, the odd mob over the road in 99, they won the treble. Yeah? And we beat Gillingham. But to us, that was the best thing in the world. You couldn't take it away from us. But the roles are reversed now. Yeah? Next week, we could be winning the T word. It's as simple as that. That is how far we've come as a football club. And that is how far, that's why we've got to be excited. And I think Saturday's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a derby game. It's going to be a horrible game. And I think, you know, we've got to realise who we are. And we've got to realise where we are. We're Manchester City Football Club. We're the champions of England for the 5th time out of 6. We're going into this game, yeah, on a 25 unbeaten run, bar Brentford. So we're not struggling. We've got Istanbul the week after. We are the top dogs going into this game. We are the team in the world now everyone's looking at as the best team in the world. We got to act like that. We got to, don't be worried about it. Let's get there and do our jobs. We can only trust Pep Guardiola, and we can only trust the players to go out there and deliver and get motivated. All we can do as supporters is get behind them. Starting with Saturday, FA Cup final, we've got to get behind these lads in that stadium non-stop, yeah? The odd mob over the road, they're going to be up for it, you know. They're going to be out. They're going to be ready for it. It's a derby game. They'd love to stop our season. They'd love to derail it by winning the FA Cup. But we got to make sure that ain't going to happen. We got to make sure we turn up, and we will turn up. We got to make sure that we leave that stadium on Saturday night with that FA Cup, and we show the rest of the world that we're going to Istanbul next week, meaning business. And I believe it. I believe we're going to do it. And I believe Pep Guardiola and the boys know that. So I did get the odd negative message about, oh, I can't believe he played this team and all that. But listen, let's just think for a second. He's rested the players that needed resting. A few of the players were already injured, so he's given them an extra rest. This week in training, they're going to step it up. This week in training, they're going to get ready for the 2 most important games. So don't panic. Relax. Trust me when I tell you, relax. And trust our manager. He's the best in the world. Trust him and the team to make the right decisions. Pep's going to overthink it. I've heard that as well. Well, listen, when you overthink things like he's done in the past, there is going to be a chance that he could overthink it. But there's also a chance that he's learned his lesson, which I think he has this season, when you can see he's not over-tinkering and he's going to realise what he needs to do and put it right. It's very rare Pep Guardiola gets, egg on his face twice. So I'm hoping and praying that we go out all guns blazing. Injury front, there's people talking about Grealish being injured. I do believe he's been injured with a hip injury. Ruben Diaz, I do believe he's had a bit of a knock. This is more the reason to get a bit of rest in them legs. 2 intense games coming up. I can't wait. I'm absolutely excited and over the moon with it. I can't wait. Just a little bit about Istanbul. There's a few things came out last night. Taksim Square, where a lot of Man City fans are booked, is not our square. The Inter Milan fan zone is around that area. Don't panic, though. I don't think it's going to cause you any issues. It just means that their fan zone's there, so they're going to be there. If you stay in the night round there, you just got to get back to your hotel safe and get your nut down. But we're more towards the river, Yetim Capi or something, whatever it's called. But the official announcements are going to come out this week. Also, for Man City fans that can't get to the Champions League final, I do believe there's going to be a big event at Mayfield Depot in town. So please keep an eye on the Man City website. About 6,000 people going in there, big screens. And let me tell you, I did some events there for the World Cup with England, the Road to Victory. And it is unbelievable in there. The atmosphere, the sound system, the way they lay it on, the food, the beers, it's going to be insane in there. It's going to be insane. So my advice to you guys is, if you can't watch the Champions League final in Istanbul and you want to be around people that are feeling the same as you, that have got the same vibe, that are going to be up for it, get them tickets for Mayfield Depot, because I believe it's going to be insane in there. It's definitely going to be mad in there. But like I said, today when I woke up, I was reminded on social media that it was 99 Gillingham Day. And that's what put it into perspective for me. And I thought, you know what? We're going to get a bit of nerves this week. We are. Is Saturday going to be enjoyable? Probably not, because of the opponent. But would we give anything to be in this position in 99? 100%. We'd give anything to be in this position in 99. So let's enjoy it. Let's pull together now. This is the final hurdle for us to put this club into the elite bracket. Now is the time to be together and to be confident and to make sure you kiss all the lucky eggs, all the lucky charms, all the lucky rings, everything. Like I've told you before about the superstition, they're all coming to Istanbul with me. Now is the time to do it. And I do believe that we will play a solid team at weekend. I can only see one change in Ortega. I think we all know our best lineup. For me, it's Walker at right back. I'd play left back. I'd play Ake or Akanji, either one. Centre back has got to be Stones and Diaz. It's got to be Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan in the middle for me. It's got to be Bernardo out wide on the right. It's got to be Grealish on the left. And it's got to be Erling Haaland up front. That is what I think is our best team going into them 2 games. In my opinion, that's what I'd play. Anyone else think different? Anyone else thinking Foden should start? Maybe changing it up for the FA Cup final, putting Rico Lewis in there? I don't know. Leave the comments below. Let me know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, coming out of Brentford, getting beat, it's a strange feeling. It's not been a season where we've lost a lot. But did it feel like a loss? Not really. I think a lot of fans were just disappointed in the team selection. I think a lot of fans were expecting to see maybe Haaland get half an hour, Bernardo get half an hour, people like that, Kevin De Bruyne get half an hour, just to see them sharpen up for the weekend. But like I said to my friend, if he'd have brought Kevin De Bruyne on, and God forbid, he'd have pulled an hamstring or something like that, the world and his dog would have gone mad. And we don't need the madness leading up to the cup final. We don't need that. So at the end of the day, he didn't. We got beat 1-0 and he rested the players, and it's calm. It's absolutely calm. The only one's going to be putting pressure on Manchester City Football Club this week is the press, the media, and all the nonsense. Expect some stories about 115 charges. They'll be coming out because they've got nothing else to say. They want to try and derail what we're trying to do. There'll be stories coming out about players. Expect it, because you watch this week. This English press won't get behind Manchester City. This English press won't get behind our own club in this country and thinking, go on and do it. Go and win the FA Cup. Go and win the Champions League and be historic. They won't want us to do that. The Italian press will be all over Inter, begging that they go out there and bring the cup back to Italy, but not our press. But we're used to that. We're used to that. So all I'm saying is ignore it. Ignore the nonsense. Don't fall for the transfer stories and the rumours and people trying to unsettle us. We just got to keep in our Man City bubble this week and next week. Block out all the haters. We know what we've got to do. But listen, Blues, this is going to be the most exciting 2 weeks as in your life as a Man City fan. I've been supporting them over 40 years and I can't wait. I'm looking at it this week and I'm thinking, part of me's nervous. Yeah, I'm getting that feeling in my chest, but it's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling. And I just can't wait. I want Saturday out the way and then I want to enjoy Istanbul. But listen, I'm going to do an FA Cup preview this week. I'll probably get Saeed on, or a United fan, and do something with them. All I can say, there's nothing more I can say. This is just a little 18, 20-minute preview where I'm just telling people, don't panic about Brentford. We lost the game. We've won the league. The first hurdle's out the way. We didn't get any injuries, and we've got a lot of players rested for the cup final. That is all I'm saying. Chill out. The DMs go mad when City get beat off. Thing. A lot of them are foreign supporters that don't really understand it's a bit crazy how they react. As soon as something happens, it's all doom and gloom. But a lot of the real supporters know the score. Don't be too disappointed with Pep. I know you want to see Ireland and all the boys play, but we're all rested and ready to go. Anyone going to the cup final, head to the Green Man. I think there's a lot of City fans going to go to the Green Man. So I'm going to head to the Green Man. If you're around, I'll be in the Green Man. I know it's against Man United and I know you're not going to enjoy it, but try and enjoy it. Please look out for my FA Cup preview on this channel. I'll be on the football terrace this week. There's a Liverpool fan called Hussam who's been speaking a bit of shit about Man City and charges and that. So I told the terrace to get me on a show with him this week. So me and him are going to go a bit head to head this week. So make sure you tune into that. And listen, again, thanks for the support. Thanks for the subscribers on the channel. Thanks for everything you've done for me this season. My channel's grown and grown. The love I get from Man City supporters every game, I appreciate it. And at the end of the day, I'm just one of you guys. I'm a Man City fan. I love the club and I'm trying to represent the fans the best I can. And I'm just looking forward to the next 2 weeks. So please, people, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video anywhere. Urge people not to panic. We're Man City, yeah? Nobody knows our name. Remember the song? City, nobody knows your name. Well, I can assure you this, in 2 weeks' time, people will know our name. Peace.